We are joined once again by Quincy School Committee Vice Chair Frank Santoro to give us a little update on what's happening within the Quincy Public Schools. Great to see you again, Frank.
Nice to see you, Jones.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Lunar New Year.
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, lots going on.
There are. And, you know, my affiliation with Quincy Asian Resource is also helping as we combine efforts with the school system as well as Quincy Asian Resources.
I know a lot of students are involved in the celebration, the Year of the Rabbit, right?
February 5th at North Quincy High School.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of kids volunteer, I know. An interesting statistic that you shared with me just before we started talking this morning.
39% of our students are of Asian descent.
Yeah.
Surpasses Caucasians,
amazing.
I think, for the first time in the history of the city.
Wow. It kind of mirrors the overall population in Quincy, right?
That's
about
correct.
35% of the city's population is of Asian descent.
And Quincy Asian Resources has been very helpful to the school system as people get used to a new environment.
That's great.
Adults as well.
Yeah.
So.
I know you have a personal goal to maybe have a new holiday.
Yeah, I'm seeking some other school committee members to go along with me, although I don't know if that can happen. But I would love to say that the school system values that community by giving Lunar New Year a day off.
Wow.
But I don't think they'll hold people accountable for that day anyway, but it would be a good message if we did do that.
Well, I know it is the largest celebration in the Asian community,
yes.
right? Not just Chinese, but Korean, Vietnamese.
That's correct.
Japanese, I know. Yeah. So it's big.
Yeah, and it would be nice. So maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll start something right here, Frank. Let's talk about what is happening, though.
Sure.
Not pie in the sky stuff,
yeah.
but real stuff.
Well, the hot topics, obviously, in the school system, negotiations.
Yes.
We're negotiating with all our unions. A few have settled, not many. But, you know, people work very hard in the school system, and they deserve all that they can get. I mean, especially through the pandemic, people came through like heroes. Teachers as well as everybody else. But we also have to remember that as school committee people, we also represent the taxpayers. Although the school department is the largest piece of pie in the city budget, we can only do so much because we only have so much. So we're trying to create the best possible contracts for all our unions, including our teachers. We have another session scheduled for the 30th, and hopefully things will work out in a give and take process, and we're looking forward to negotiating again.
Yeah, I know you can't talk publicly about the actual terms, but members of the union came to the last school committee meeting and sounded optimistic that you were getting close.
Yes, we're getting close.
Yeah.
And I welcome the public to, if they want to see the current contract, that's public information.
Yes.
It's on the city website under Human Resources, and take a look and see what people get.
Okay, I know it expired at the end of August. However, it's being prolonged until the new contract is reached.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
And hopefully we reach that settlement soon.
Good. Look forward to that.
Yeah.
All right.
Another hot topic
Yes.
recent is cell phone policy.
Yes.
We've just come to an agreement at our last meeting to vote on a new policy, which requires all cell phones to be off during class time. The students still have the option of using them in the hallway or in cafeteria, but that's where we are with that. They can become very disruptive. We've had surveys go out to our staff, and that's what we've came. I think it's a good resolution. Penalties for those that do not abide by the new rule include taking them, giving them back to parents if that need be, if it goes to a second offense. And then actually excluding a cell phone, I believe it goes to the third offense. But hopefully the teachers don't have to give up a lot of their day dealing with cell phones.
Right, yeah.
Because I know when I was principal, it took a big part of the day, and that was in 2013.
Not that long ago.
Yeah, today. It's,
10 years
yeah,
now.
10 years
true,
now.
Yeah.
And people get attached to that instrument, and it becomes very interruptive during the class.
Well, this is a win for you, I know, because you and I talked about this probably almost a year ago when you wanted to institute it. This is at the high school level now, right?
High school, and middle schools and elementaries are pretty much the same, where there really aren't any issues, where they're not visible during the day anyway.
Right,
So,
okay.
mostly the high school.
I know there was concern that it might it might result in maybe some confrontations between teachers and students.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen. I mean,
Right.
if there is that confrontation, the teachers can always call down to the office
Okay.
and have
right.
somebody create a resolution to the problem, because you don't want them to get involved with taking a cell phone.
Right. Yep.
That's you don't want to have to deal with that.
Right. No personal confrontations.
no.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a policy in place, you can deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations on the win,
Yeah,
then.
thank you. I think it's a win for everybody. So.
Yeah. Probably the kids too.
Yeah,
And
the
most
kids
most
too.
of them would think,
Yeah.
let's just focus on what we're doing
Yeah.
here, and we can, turn that
Right.
on after class. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, speaking of surveys, we also had a vocal survey where students were surveyed about how they felt about their school in a number of different categories, and we've dealt with the conclusion of the survey and putting in place some things that I think will keep people, students especially, happy and understanding that the school building is theirs and people are there to listen. And I think the survey created some good results as a result of taking them.
Okay. What kind of things were they asked?
Well,
for?
everything that had to do with the normal day.
Oh.
Do teachers listen to you? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel threatened? There were a lot of questions on there that really got personal in terms of how they felt about their own school.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the school system has instituted a number of different things during the day where kids have the liberty to sit and talk about things that bother them. And that's probably the biggest resolution.
Okay. Were the teachers surveyed as well?
Yeah, in the beginning, I think, not according to the vocal survey that the students took, but in the beginning, I think their voices were heard. As we went through a process after that incident where kids actually walked out and felt as though that they weren't listened to, I think everybody came to some agreement as assemblies were made and people's feelings were heard, especially teachers during teacher meetings. I think we've come to some good resolutions.
Okay, well, that was
Yeah.
one of the kind of, I don't want to say demands, but one of the concerns that the
Yeah.
kids raised, right?
Yeah.
Was that their concerns weren't being
As
heard.
long as they know that they have a process
Yeah.
to change things. I was always a firm believer while I was a principal at Quincy High to make sure that the students felt as though they had assemblies run by students, agendas created by students, so that they knew that they could change something given the right process of going up through their student government.
Okay.
Even had a student council president's office next to mine where
Okay.
the door was always open to them and their ideas.
All right.
Yeah.
Have there been any major changes, since those policies were instituted?
I think as the teachers create their classroom environments, they have these circles where kids can actually express things that are bothering them within their classrooms. And I know that the student councils are becoming very active and the principals listening. We have two great principals at our high schools. Dan Gilbert, as he traveled from Broadmeadows,
Yes.
as well as Keith Ford at Quincy High School, and both of them are well respected by the student and parent community.
Seeing as you brought it up, let's talk a little bit about the incident at Quincy High
Yeah.
with Principal Ford and what has happened after that.
Yeah, other than the fact that there were some issues in the bathroom, but Joe, there's always been issues in the bathrooms and what people write on the walls in the bathrooms. And for years I've always said that there's a number of kids that come to your high school where academics may not be their primary focus. They could be kids who have never passed a subject. You can't be 16 years of age in the 8th grade and drive your car to the 8th grade middle school.
Right.
And they know that they can move on.
Okay.
And sometimes you have a group of people who probably haven't passed much since they've been in school and know that they're not there for other than social reasons. And they cause a lot of controversy in their first year at high school, whether it be in the bathrooms, in the hallways, etc. We need to capture those kids and create an environment where they're listened to, create a program for them. It's something I've always wanted to do. I did do when I was at Quincy High. I would love to see it reinstituted, where those kids are grabbed and you create something so that they can feel success as they walk in.
I
And you
see.
can identify who they are in the 8th grade.
Is that right?
Oh, sure. If
Okay.
you speak to the 8th grade guidance counselors, they'll probably give you a good clue as to who those people are.
All right.
And you get those kids and show them that they can be successful in school and give them the right support. It's something that probably would alleviate a lot of those bathroom issues where
okay.
people write on the wall.
All right. So does Principal Ford kind of see that?
I'm
and
sure he has.
taken that into account?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard a lot about how he reacted to
Yeah,
that.
but I would love to see this, us as a school committee come
Yeah.
up with a special
Oh,
program for
okay.
these kids at both our high schools, for them to feel as though they have the support, a nurtured environment where they become very successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since we last talked, the schools now have Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Kim Conley,
Yeah.
who was a new addition to our program. We just listened to her presentation at our last school committee meeting. Each of the directors come in with a school improvement plan presentation, and she's right on top of it. The big thing is to make sure that we can attract a staff that is a reflection of our student body.
Yep.
It's not easy to do
Right.
because they don't exist on a regular basis. You would hope that resumes would come in, and Kim is really searching out ways to do that.
Okay.
And once they are here, to make them feel very accepted and welcomed so that they stay.
Yes.
And we would love to have more Asian teachers, more teachers of color, and certainly administrators in those same capacity. And we'll get there. And Kim's working very hard at making sure that that happens.
Yeah. It's a challenge not only here in Quincy, right, but it's across the country.
Oh, it's a challenge everywhere. That's why it's so hard to find them.
Right.
Yeah, we're up against other school systems doing the same thing.
Sure.
So
Is there still a problem with school bus drivers, Frank?
we need bus drivers.
You do still?
Yeah, oh yes,
Okay.
we need them. We've gone to our custodial staff, police, fire. We're asking if anybody wants to be a bus driver to let us know, because we're in demand of someone to drive a bus.
Yeah,
and we're willing to teach.
I was just going to say you'll
Yeah.
train them. Yeah.
We'll train them, which is a great license to have.
Yes.
So
Right. It is transferable, although you'd like them to stay in Quincy,
Yeah.
obviously.
yeah,
And some electric buses might be coming to Quincy.
yeah, soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our grant has been written, and
Yes.
hopefully we'll see the results of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they could get to drive an electric bus
yeah.
if they wanted to come to Quincy.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. How is the assessment of learning loss due to the pandemic going?
Yeah, well, obviously, our MCAS results
Yes.
are coming in.
Yep.
Each school gave a school improvement plan presentation, most of which is based on those MCAS scores as they come in. And there has been a dip,
Yep.
but that's to be expected, as it is everywhere. You have kids coming to school that haven't been to school in a few years
That's right.
together as a group, learning in a different way. And I think as we go along, things will get better as people get back into the swing of things. But we were talking earlier about possibly if there is a snow day, maybe if the state gives us approval, we can Zoom. They're certainly used to Zooming in
Right.
and not miss a school day.
No more
But
snow days, right?
No more snow days. Well, we'll see. We're not there yet.
No,
but
right.
It could be coming.
Yeah. Well, technically, it's certainly possible. We've already proved that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just bureaucratically, is
That's
it possible?
correct.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
correct.
We'll wait and see on that for sure.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of some other things that are, other than the administrative changes, I think up ahead we have the De Cristofaro and the Squantum School.
Yes.
Hopefully will be open soon. De Cristofaro building as they work on it. We're hoping for, I think, September 24 opening as it goes along.
That's the latest assessment, yeah.
Which will help because it frees up a lot of space that is being used that we need. There are some schools that are still have too many children in them,
Is that right?
creating the necessity of that fifth grade to go over to Point from the Marshall. Hopefully we can resolve some of those issues by more space. In the Squantum School, we've met a few times. The planning committee, the siting committee has met a few times, and that's the process has been approved as we go along, and looking forward to that project starting.
Okay. And I know down the road, the mayor is hoping to one day have a new elementary school in West Quincy, the old St. Mary's property.
Yeah. That would be a good idea. I don't know if he's talking about a complete renovation, a knockdown, or
Right.
but it's something that I'm sure that the mayor's office is pursuing via the right state approval program.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's further down the road. Squantum is first on the list, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah. What's going on?
We've been pretty lucky when you think about the buildings that have been approved by the state to get the funding. I mean, other than Quincy High, Central, now Squantum, and
Southwest Middle School.
and the remake of Point. I mean,
Yes.
that was a big expense. So
Yeah.
happy to see them get a playground.
An actual field, right?
An
A little bit
actual
of field, yeah.
Yeah, the John Mariano Field will be dedicated after private John Mariano. That would be a nice thing, too.
Very nice,
They've
yeah.
received a grant, too, for the athletic equipment, $20,000.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's good to see, yeah.
We're lucky to have a lot of partners that are providing funding for our school system. The mini grant process through Keith Segala's office, a lot of businesses are contributing money. A lot of individuals are contributing money. We've got a few this week. I saw we had Sandy Roundville, 50 tickets to see the Christmas Carol up at the North Shore facility. Randy Wolf Trust, $14,000 for the music program. The Elks, 700 dictionaries for grade 3, as well as the high school scholarships that they always do.
Yep.
Geico Insurance is the $20,000 for the sporting equipment. Quincy Rotary, $3,400 for Mother Bruce for a book for each first grader. And the Mass Capital Skills Grant of $145,000 for our career and vocational program.
Okay.
So great people giving to our school system, and we're very happy for it, too.
Speaking of the vocational program, how's the tiny house construction project going?
I think it's coming along pretty good. I
Okay.
saw pictures of it. I went to the opening
Oh.
when they first started.
Yes.
And that's a great project for kids and businesses to come together in a joint venture to show kids that it's a joint partnership to create something, and the business is willing to do it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about efforts coming up in the future in the Quincy
Yeah.
Public Schools. Yeah.
Yeah, well, those two building projects are probably
Yes.
the two biggest. I will say the events in general, as we talk about things that have happened, we just concluded our fall athletic program, with 26 of our athletes being recognized by the Globe for their academic and athletic skills. We've got our winter sports program in action now as we talk about thousands of our kids participating in winter sports. We completed, I don't know if you saw 'Tis the Season, another great opportunity to celebrate the winter holiday and the holiday festivities. Peter Pan, I saw Peter Pan at Central. Our schools are now becoming pretty good at creating plays and musicals, as well as all the winter concerts that happened. Both our high schools are in the process of having a STEM fair.
Yes.
We need judges.
Okay.
So that's coming up in the next month, February 9th, I think.
Okay.
February 7th and 9th. So if you want to be a judge, we need you at the high school level to judge that science fair. Those are pretty much the things that are on the burner. Our subcommittees are all in action, talking about what's to come in the future, as they each have a list of events that we need to talk about before we put it before a full school committee.
Right. Yeah, obviously, that's the process that it
Yeah.
goes through. Yeah. There is a measure on Beacon Hill to provide school lunch for free for all public school students.
We've been doing that.
Yeah.
I don't see why we can't. I've always said, for the amount of money it takes for the paperwork to be done at the state level, we probably could have just give the kids a free lunch.
Right.
And that would be a great opportunity. For some families, these are the only time that they get a good meal at the school, especially breakfast.
Yes. Well,
So-
I mean, hundreds of thousands of meals were distributed for free when
Yeah.
school was shut down.
That's
during
correct.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it
We
went
were sending food home.
very smoothly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when I read the bill, I said, Quincy's way ahead of the curve
Yeah,
on this
it would
one.
be a great thing
Yeah.
to continue. And it would probably help our foods program director to deal with all the paperwork that they have to deal with to make it so kids are eligible.
Yes. Yeah,
Excuse
sure,
me.
Yeah. Going forward, graduation won't be that far off.
No,
Yeah.
right around the corner.
Yes.
Talk about some of the things that the kids have been recognized for,
Yes.
especially these seniors. We've had 13 National Merit Scholars named. We've had 210 kids receive the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship, which is the top 25% of the MCAS scores in the state. That's not bad for a senior class at both our high schools. Our North Quincy High School Quiz Bowl team is
Yes.
in action again,
Yes.
as they've been very successful in that.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've seen the band, Joe, but the band is quite a thing to see.
They've really come a long way. Yes, I have
They've
seen
come
them.
a long way
Yes.
with a lot of kids,
Yes.
too. Over 100 kids participating, and they're receiving awards all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
The MICCA has given them award. We have 2 students. We have Yu Fan Mei for her for the French horn, as well as Fanny Yang for her bassoon performances, getting recognized from that band. We have some administrators being recognized
Oh, really?
as well. Yeah, Mara Papil by the
Oh.
Department of Elementary and Secondary Education for her work in social, emotional, and mental health awareness
Oh.
and well-being. She's been recognized by the state for all that she's doing.
Oh, I
in
did not know
department.
that. Okay.
Yeah, as well as Kevin Mahoney, our athletic director,
Yes.
being recognized for his expertise as an athletic director.
Yeah.
Which is not easy to do 2 high schools at once.
At once, right?
Yeah.
He is it now, right? So good for them.
Yeah. So a lot of recognition with students and staff.
You know what we haven't talked about that we should is the collaboration Quincy Public Schools with Quincy College.
Yeah.
You know, and how that works. Yeah.
Prior to the early college experience, we were doing something called dual enrollment, where our kids at both our high schools could enroll in college courses and get credit for them as they sat in their high school setting. It would mean taking less of electives at the high schools to get squeeze those courses in during the day, which was very popular. And thanks to Dr. Cristofaro and the staff over at the college, Megan Cassidy, for example, in particular, created early college, which we try to identify kids who normally wouldn't go and create the support where they feel successful in attempting a college and then providing a free tuition for them when they got there.
Yeah.
Or transfer those credits to any college anywhere, saving them a first semester of expenses.
It's huge. Yeah.
It's really a great program. And, you know, I spoke earlier of those kids that come into high school not feeling success. This is a perfect opportunity for these kids to get the support they need
Yes.
to show that they can go to college as well. And this is a great venture. We're now tying into other school systems because they want to do the same thing. So this is a great idea.
Yeah, it really does develop what could be a career path for a student. There are now 2 4-year programs at
That's right.
Quincy College.
A third,
and a
soon
third one
to
is
be
coming.
A third, and one is coming.
Right.
And we're actually reaching out to the other junior colleges, and those kids are coming back into Quincy College to finish their last 2 years.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The athletic program over at the college is going
It's
is
grown
really
exponentially,
growing,
yeah.
thanks to athletic director Mr. Raymer.
Jack Raymer, yeah.
Yeah.
So
we got a hockey program, a successful basketball program. So they just beat last week the number 11 ranked team in the country. So things are going well with the partnership with the college and the high schools. A great thing, and thanks to Dr. Cristofaro for spotting those things and tying them in.
yeah. Back to the Early Education Center for a minute, Frank. Do you know about how many students will be attending classes at that center?
We're hoping that. I'm hearing numbers. I'm not quite sure of the
All
number.
right.
I don't want to throw a number out there. There is a breakfast celebration for them coming up at the Marriott to invite the students that are in that program as well as the staff to talk about the success of the program.
Okay, all right. So, well, fortunately,
There are hundreds. I mean, there are
it'll
hundreds.
be. I was
yeah,
going to say about 150 at
Yeah.
least, maybe more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But fortunately, the Erin Perkins, the vice superintendent, is former special education director, so
Yeah.
she knows what's
Oh,
going on.
she knows. Yeah, she's very knowledgeable.
Yes.
As is her sister.
Yes.
Because as we talked about the program that I had at the high school for those kids that were coming in, her sister Sue was heading that program and led those kids to college experiences as both of them are very valuable to our school system, as was the Creedon family.
And I know the mayor's looking forward to the financial savings that will benefit the city as well.
Yeah, we spend so much money with private schools
Yes.
that now I think the parents will be very happy that their kids don't have to sit on a bus for hours, and the city, I know, will be very happy that they don't have to spend the $80,000 to $100,000 tuition it costs to get those kids in the building.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. All right. Anything else coming we should talk about?
No, I think we've covered a lot, and
We have indeed, yeah.
we have a lot of work to go, and hopefully our negotiations sessions with all our unions will be successful in the next couple of weeks, and we move on.
You encourage parents, the public, to reach out to the school committee?
We're back in public, so our open forum is there. If you would like to speak on any issue, please come to us. We have a meeting. You can check out the schedule online as to when our meetings are, but we certainly invite our parents, all the groups that, whether it be citywide, our special ed parent group, our ESL parent group, please come and speak to us. We're open.
Absolutely, and we're pleased here at QATV to carry the meetings and the subcommittee meetings as well.
Yep.
So folks can check them out.
And thank you to QATV for doing that as well.
And thank you for coming over, Frank.
Anytime.
We'll have to have another update maybe before the end of the school year.
Would love to do that.
All right, thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching us here at AM Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Please join us again next time.